Hey, welcome to Quick Take. I'm Susie along with James. How are
I'm
you,
very well.
James?
How about yourself? Love that
Good,
jacket.
good. We've
Very, very, very classy.
thanks. It's just old one I've had for a long time.
Classic. It never goes out of
I
style.
appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. I was thinking today about what topics have been coming up, and I work with all levels within the organization, and it's really interesting to me because sometimes I get assigned the director level, the mid-level, to really take some time with and have group strategy sessions or
Yeah.
facilitation around what are the things that are really getting them stuck, and empowerment and motivation and just doing more with less are the things that are coming up. And it's interesting because Adam Grant wrote in one of his books, I'm not even gonna be able to quote which book it is, about that tension of mid-management, that you're beyond your initial role, like you can make quick wins, but you're not at the level where you're just automatically have the spotlight on you. So it's this place of real strife and trying to be seen. And it feels, especially now, it feels really tough.
Yeah, I think that's so true. I often think that many managers and middle managers today are those accidental leaders. They've gotten there, but they're ill-equipped to mentor, inspire, or really to engage their teams. And it's a super challenging place to be in your career.
Right now, a lot of people in that level have seen decreases or below them. Don't you have a stat around that?
Yeah, I think it said
10%.
Well, I think here's the number: 41% of companies slashed middle management in 25.
Wow,
41%. That's just a lot of impact. And I think that Andrew Grove said middle managers are the muscle and bone of every sizable organization. No matter how loose or flattened the hierarchy, they are largely ignored despite their immense importance to our society and economy. And it's so true that we don't put the effort there. And I love your point about how there aren't the quick wins anymore. There isn't the opportunity to really shine. And what a way to lose talent is you burn them out by not having that consistency with them.
Yeah. And burnout is how you show up for others. And people that work for that level are so critical to the bloodstream of the company. And people join companies, but they stay with their leaders that they respect. And so that's another really volatile area of thinking about this mid-level. And if you think about 41% of companies this year are letting that go. So gosh, how should leaders be thinking about this from an executive level? You really need to be thoughtful about what do these leaders need right now?
I think what's really important is to start looking at your statistics of your employee makeup. You'll find that you have more tenure at your middle management. That tends to be the stickiest space. And you have a lot of rotation at the C-level and at your entry level. You can't ignore that reality that these people are the culture creators of your organization. Now, you also have people that are hiding in place, people that are stuck in their ways. But the fact of the matter is these people will be here after you leave and will be here to bring on those new individuals. And if you don't take the time to really work with them actively, like specifically work with them, I think you're gonna suffer.
Well, I think what happens also is so often a company believes that when they need a new role, they need to fill a role, outside is better. And when you overlook the people that have been in the trenches, that have the enterprise, the knowledge, the context, that feels like they finally just give up. So I think a lot of that comes from not feeling like there's a place to go, not understanding what they can do to really shine. And so when that happens over and over again, that feels like, why am I here? I'm just going to go through the motions. I'm just going to continue doing what I've always been doing this way. And I don't want to think outside the box or be innovative or feel motivated because they don't care about me. So I think for leaders, when you're looking at that mid-management level and you look at who's been there for a long time, why might this be happening to them?
While getting ready for this conversation, I saw a statistic that said that 70%, ready for this, of employees under the age of 27 view middle management as too stressful and underpaid, with 50% of them uninterested in those roles. So they see their boss as having a thankless, underpaid, undervalued role. That is absolutely something that leadership can manage and address. That's tangible.
Yes. And we know that people are looking at The pandemic really opened up our eyes around what life is all about. And when those up and coming leaders see that and recognize that there's not room
Yeah.
for them and it's not a place where they want to be, which is really
Yeah. Yeah.
sad because I remember that kind of being a pride thing, just an expectation. But I mean, hats off to them to be like, I don't want to
Right.
be there. But that means that has to be
Absolutely.
fixed. It has to be looked at.
If you want to have some new blood in your organization and you think that that clay layer needs to be changed, well, you have to make it appealing to people to move in. At the end of the day, I think a healthy organization has a delicate balance of internal mobility and external mobility. It can't be binary. You can't have one or the other. And you've got to handle it at all levels. You've got to expect that some of your entry-level people are going to rotate out because the industry isn't for them. You're going to want some of those middle managers to find that they aren't prepared to grow or they've burned out and they're going to move out. But you've also got to create a system that allows people to move up within the organization. So middle management is key. All roads go through middle management.
So one of the people in this group that I was talking to talked about, you know what, my boss is so busy. He's gotten so much more responsibility that he barely sees him. He's in the office with him 3 days a week and he barely sees him. So he's like, but he excuses it away. And I was like, no, your leader needs to spend time with you. This idea of they're seasoned enough that they can do it on their own. I trust them. I'm going to let them go. I don't want to look like I'm micromanaging. No, that is not true. It's a different space that you need to give that director, senior director level where you give them time and let them give you the priorities or the barriers that they're facing so that you can give them those quick wins so that they can feel empowered and so they can be seen as somebody that is empowered because that's so critical too to their internal influence.
I'm not sure if I agree with you 100%. Well, let me unpack that a little bit. I get that sometimes you can't be seen by your manager. Your manager may not be in the same city as you. But your point where I agree is that as a manager, you need to provide certain things to your individuals, the people that work with you. And some of those things are clearly interpersonal. And so you need to make sure that you do give them time, you do give them the feedback, you do give them the guardrails, as you so well pointed out. So however you do it, it needs to happen. And if they have no visibility into that, no insight into that, then that's just creating multiple problems. That's just a big part of that equation.
So I guess my point is, and it is just time and space. I was just saying that he was in the office, so it makes it easy, but it's making that space. Don't make excuses. Even though you believe they're doing a good job, you need to make sure you make space for them. Even if it's 15 minutes every 2 weeks, that's table stakes.
It's super important that those things happen. Yeah, that's not enough, I don't think. But I do think that to ensure that those folks have the agency to be heard, the time has to be given.
Yeah. So I guess the point here is really look at and investigate or observe the evidence of the health of your mid-level of your organization, because it's so critical to the success now and later of the organization. And so just paying no attention or ignoring it is not a good strategy.
Your strategy has to be targeted. You can't just assume that the strategy for your entry-level folks is the same as your middle management, is the same as your C-suite.
Yeah.
Just like many things, all politics are local, and you really need to take the time and effort to understand that middle management layer, make sure that they're being heard and address what our concerns are. Because I think I read a stat too that said 10% of all innovation for a company comes out of middle management. I think that's low, but the fact of the matter is if you have one organization that's contributing to your general improvement, you need to give them time.
And don't bring the agenda.
As always.
Fill the time. If you do have things that you need to go over with them, great. But make sure that you give them the space to just see what comes up for them.
Yeah, always good management advice. Make sure that they feel heard, give them opportunity to speak. Don't lecture. They're a smart group. They see things from both directions, and I think it's important that they're heard.
Yeah, so good.